Anantam Shukrana Guruji for blessing us with this beautiful seva of reading as well as listening to Shivpuran. Reading of this Granth and listening to this Granth was recommended by Guruji himself, and this really leads to expiation of our sins and salvation, attainment of salvation. So Jai Guruji, Shukrana Guruji. Let us begin with the synopsis of last week. Last week we read chapter 9 and 10 of Rudra Samhita section 10. In this we read that Lord Brahma and Vishnu made arrangements for the divine chariot of Lord Shiva. For this, the responsibility was given to Vishwakarman, and with his devoted effort, a beautiful divine chariot was made, and everything in this world found a place on that chariot, be it the Vedas, be it the planets, be it the gods, the mountains, the rivers, everything found a place on this chariot. Now, as soon as, of course, Lord Brahma was the divine charioteer of this chariot, and when he handed over the chariot to Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva mounted on that chariot, the horses which were constituted by the Vedas, they could not take the weight of Lord Shiva, and they fell on the ground. The earth quaked, the mountains were tremulous, and the Sesa also trembled. Just to help them, Lord Vishnu assumed the form of a lordly bull and went under the chariot, but he could only steady it for a short while. After that, even he could not take the mighty splendor and the weight of Lord Shiva, and the bull had to kneel down. Now, when Lord Shiva realized that, he steadied the horses, and at his bidding, Brahma drove this divine chariot in the sky towards the three cities with the velocity of wind and mind. Now there, when they reached the three cities, Lord Shiva told the gods that he asked them to give the lordship of animals. Now, hearing this, the gods were confused. Then he asked the gods he assigned them animalhood, and all the gods were despirited listening to all this. So Lord Shiva realized and sensed what the gods were going through, and then he gave them a way of being released from animalhood. He told them that anyone who follows the divine path of Pashupata or the divine right of Pashupata can be released from animalhood. Hearing this, all the gods were delighted, and at Shiva's bidding, Asuras as well as gods assumed the form of animals, and therefore Lord Shiva is also called Pashupati. Now, after this, as Lord Shiva was getting ready to destroy the three cities, he fixed his bow and arrow, and therefore there at that time he heard an auspicious voice which guided Lord Shiva into worshipping Ganpati, because for every process to be successful, Lord Ganesha had to be worshipped. So Lord Shiva had to worship Ganesha. Even though he was an independent supreme Brahmin, he had to worship Lord Ganesha, and as soon as the worship of God Ganesha was finished, that's when the three cities united up in the sky. And when the three cities united, all the gods gave out shouts of victory, and Lord Shiva fixed his arrow again, and first the gods and the Ganas went ahead to destroy the cities, and the arrow of Lord Shiva was Vishnu, and the spearhead of that arrow was Agni. And when Lord Shiva discharged this arrow destroyed the three asuras as well as the three cities. Nobody could escape, nothing, mobile, immobile, could escape the fury of this arrow except for Maya, as well as those who were devoted to Lord Shiva and who had sought refuge in Lord Shiva. And all those who sought refuge in Lord Shiva attained Ganpati's region. Today we will read further. We'll be reading chapter 11, which is the God's prayers, and chapter 12, which is the gods go back to their abodes. Today Vikas uncle will be reading these chapters in English, and Ashwini uncle will be reading these chapters in Hindi. Enjoy the reading. Jai Guruji, Shukrana Guruji.
Jai Guruji, Shukrana to Guruji, Om Namah Shivaya. Chapter 11, The God's Prayer. Vyasa said, O son of Brahma, of great intellect, O most excellent among the devotees of Shiva, you are blessed. When the three cities were burned, What did the gods do? Where did Maya, who was spared, go? Where did the ascetics go? Please narrate all, if it relates to Shiva's stories. Sutta said, on hearing the words of Vyasa, Sanat Kumara, the holy son of Creator, remembered the feet of Shiva and spoke. Sanat Kumara said, listen, O Vyasa, son of Prasara and of great intellect, in the to the sin-destroying story of the great Lord who follows worldly conventions. When the three cities of Asuras were utterly burned, the gods became surprised. The gods, including Indra, Vishnu, and others, became silent and bewildered on seeing the excessively brilliant Shiva. On merely seeing the terrible form of Shiva, dazzling the 10 quarters, resembling countless suns, in refulgence and on a par with the fire at the hour of dissolution, and also the goddess Parvati, the daughter of Himawat, the illustrious gods stood humbly in their fright. On seeing the army of gods terrified, the excellent sages did not say anything. They stood all round and bowed. Then Brahma too, who was excessively afraid on seeing Shiva's terrible form, was delighted at heart and fervently prayed along with the gods. Vishnu, who was also afraid, prayed to Shiva, the Lord of gods, the slayer of the Tripuras, who was accompanied by his consort Parvati, the Lord who is subservient to his devotees. Brahma said, O Lord of the gods, O Supreme Lord, bestower of blessings to the devotees, be pleased. O bestower of wholesome blessings to all the gods, be pleased. O Lord of the worlds, be pleased. O bestower of bliss, be pleased. O Lord Shiva, be pleased, O Supreme Lord. Obeisance to you of the form of Omkara, O great Lord, who enable the devotees to cross the ocean of existence by your very form. Be pleased, O Lord of gods, O destroyer of the Tripuras, O Supreme Lord. O Shiva, O favorite of your devotees, obeisance to you, the Lord of many names, obeisance to you, free from attributes. O you who are greater than Prakriti and Purusha, obeisance to you, free from aberrations, the eternal, the ever satiated, the resplendent, and the unsullied, the divine, one of three attributes. Obeisance to you, possessed of attributes. Obeisance to you, the Lord of heaven. Obeisance to the calm, trident bearing Shiva. Obeisance to the omniscient, to one who is the refuge of all. Obeisance to you, born in a trice. Obeisance to Vamadeva Rudra, the Purusa, accessible to the good. Obeisance to Agora, to one easily served. Obeisance to you, subservient to the devotees. Obeisance to Isana, the most excellent, the bestower of bliss to his devotees. O great Lord, save us all, the frightened gods. By burning the three cities, the gods have been satisfied and contented. After eulogizing thus, the gods severely bowed to him. The delighted gods, Brahma and others, bowed to Lord Shiva. Then Brahma himself eulogized Lord Shiva, the destroyer of the Tripuras, after bowing to him with stooping shoulders and palms joined in reverence. Brahma said, O holy Lord, Lord of the gods, O slayer of the Tripuras, O Shiva, O great Lord, let my devotion to you remain eternal. O Shiva, let me always remain your charioteer. O Lord of the gods, O Supreme Lord, be favorable to me always. Sanat Kumara said, after thus eulogizing Shiva, who is favorably disposed to his devotees with humility, the liberal-hearted Brahma stooped and stood there with stooping shoulders and palms joined in reverence. Lord Vishnu too bowed to Shiva. With palms joined in reverence, he eulogized Lord Shiva. Vishnu said, O overlord of the gods, O great Lord, O merciful one, O kinsman of the distress, be pleased. O Supreme Lord, be merciful. O favorite of those who bow to you. Obeisance to you, devoid of the attributes. Again obeisance to you, possessed of attributes. Again obeisance to you, of the form of Prakriti and Purusha. Obeisance to you, of the form of attributes. Obeisance to the soul of the universe. Obeisance to you who love devotion. Obeisance to Shiva, the calm one, the great soul. Obeisance to Sadashiva, obeisance to Shiva, the Lord of the worlds. Let my devotion to you steadily increase. Sanat Kumara said, after saying this, the Lord Vishnu, the most excellent of the great devotees of Shiva, stooped. Then all the gods bowed to him and spoke to Lord Shiva. The gods said, O Lord of gods, O great God, O Shiva, the merciful, be pleased. O Lord of the worlds, be pleased, O Supreme Lord, be pleased. You are the creator of everything. We bow to you joyously. Let our, let our devotion to you be steady and endless. Sanat Kumara said, thus eulogized by Brahma, Vishnu and the gods, Shiva, the benefactor of the worlds, the delighted lord of the gods, replied. Shiva said, O Brahma, O Vishnu, O gods, I am very much pleased with you all. All of you consider carefully and then let me know the boon you desire. Sanat Kumara said, on hearing these words mentioned by Shiva, O excellent sage, all the gods replied delightedly. The god said, O Lord, if you are pleased, if the boon is to be granted to you by you to us, O Lord of O Lord of the Master of gods, after knowing after knowing that we the gods are your slaves, then O most excellent deity, be pleased to appear always whenever misery befalls us and destroy the misery. Sanat Kumara said, thus requested simultaneously by Brahma, Vishnu and the gods, Rudra was pleased in his mind and he said, let it be ever so. I am delighted by these hymns. O God, I shall confer on those who read, recite and hear these hymns whatever they crave for. Saying this, the delighted Shiva, the remover of the distress of gods, gave them everything that was highly delightful to all the gods. Chapter 12. The gods go back to their abodes. Sanat Kumara said, in the meantime, the Asura Maya, who was not burned due to the strength of grace, came there on seeing Shiva delighted. With great delight, he bowed to Shiva and other gods. With palms joined in reverence, and with stooping shoulders, he bowed to Shiva again. Then he got up. Maya, the foremost thing among the Asuras, with his mind full of devotion and voice choked with the emotions of love, he eulogized facing Shiva. Maya said, O great Lord, Lord of the gods, and favorably disposed to your devotees, O Shiva, you are in the form of the wish-yielding kalpa tree, and devoid of special leaning to any side. Obeisance to you, O splendor formed. Obeisance to you, omniformed. Obeisance to you, O sanctified soul. Obeisance to you, O Holy One. Obeisance to you of variegated forms. To you, the Eternal One. Obeisance to you who extend beyond all forms. Obeisance to you of divine forms, shapes and features. Obeisance to the destroyer of the distress of those who bow to you. Obeisance to the welfare-hearted, to the creator, sustainer and annihilator of the three worlds. O Shiva, O consort of Parvati, obeisance to you, who are accessible through devotion of the devotees. Obeisance to the compassionate and the bestower of the good fruits of the penance. O great Lord, fond of eulogy, I know not how to eulogize you. O Lord of all, be pleased. Save me who have sought refuge in you. Sanat Kumara said, on hearing this eulogy of Maya, O excellent Brahmin, Lord Shiva was delighted, and he spoke to Maya eagerly. Shiva said, O Maya, I am delighted. O excellent Asura, speak out the boon you wish to have. There is no doubt I shall grant you what you desire. Sanat Kumara said, on hearing the auspicious words of Shiva, Maya, the foremost among the Asuras, spoke after bowing to the Lord with stooping shoulders and palms joined in reverence. Maya said, O great Lord, Lord of the gods, if you are delighted and if I deserve the grant of a boon, please grant me permanent devotion to you. O Supreme Lord, grant me comradeship with your devotees forever, compassion towards the distressed, and indifference towards the wicked living beings. O Lord Shiva, let there be no demonic instinct in me at any time. O Lord, let me be fearless, forever engrossed in your auspicious worship. Sanat Kumara said, on being thus requested, Shiva the great Lord, who is favorably disposed to his devotees and was in delightful mood, replied to Maya, Lord Shiva said, O excellent Asuras, you are my devotees and are blessed. You are free from aberrations. All the boons desired by you are granted now. At my bidding, you go to the region Vitala, more beautiful than heaven. Go in the company of your family and kinsmen. You stay there without fear. Be devout always. At my bidding, you will never have demonic instinct. Sanat Kumara said, receiving the behest of Shiva, the great soul, with bowing head and paying homage to him and to the gods, he went to Vitala. In the meantime, those heretics of tonsured heads came there, knelt before Vishnu, Brahma, and others, and spoke, O gods, where shall we go? What shall we do now? We are ready to carry out your behest. Please command us quickly. O Vishnu, O Brahma, O gods, wicked deeds have been performed by us. We have destroyed the devotion to Shiva of all the Asuras who were great devotees of Shiva. We will have to stay in hell for countless kalpas. Certainly there is no redemption for us. What have us that offended devotees of Shiva? But it was in accordance with your desire that wicked deeds were perpetrated. Please tell us the mode of atoning the same. We have sought refuge in you. Sanat Kumara said. On hearing their words, Vishnu, Brahma, and other gods spoke to the tonsured heads who stood in front with joined palms. Vishnu and others said, O tonsured ones, you need not to be afraid at all. These excellent activities have taken place at the bidding of Shiva. Since you are servants of Shiva and have carried out the activities conducive to the welfare of the gods and the sages, no mishap shall ever befall you, bringing you the distress. Shiva performs deeds conducive to the welfare of the gods and the sages. He is pleased with those who work for the welfare of the gods and the sages. No mishap befalls those who work for the welfare of the gods and sages. From now onwards, in the Kali age, those who follow this cult will be faced with disastrous results. We tell you the truth. There is no doubt about it. O brave tonsured heads, till the advent of the Kali age, you shall stay incognito in the desert region. That is my behest. When the Kali age begins, you can propagate your cult. In the Kali age, deluded fools will follow your cult. Thus bidden by the great gods, O great sage, the tonsured heads bowed to them and went to their allotted abode. Then Lord Shiva, the great yogin, after burning the residents of 3 cities, felt contented. He was duly worshipped by Brahma and others. Then the Lord, after completing the task of the gods, vanished from the scene, accompanied by his Ganas, goddess Parvati, and the sons. When Lord Shiva had vanished with his followers, the fortress too vanished along with the bow, arrows, chariot, and other things. Then Brahma, Vishnu, the gods, the sages, Gandharvas, Kinnaras, Nagas, serpents, celestial damsels, and the delighted men went to their abodes, praising the glory of Shiva. After reaching their abodes, they were highly delighted. Thus the exalted narrative of the moon-crested Lord, indicative of the annihilation of Tiruparas, coupled with the great divine sports, have been narrated to you. It is conducive to wealth, fame, and longevity. It increases prosperity and possession of food grains. It yields heavenly pleasures and salvation. What else do you wish to hear? He who reads and hears the exalted narrative will enjoy the pleasures here and attain salvation hereafter. Jai Guruji, Shukrana. Now Ashwini uncle will read in Hindi.
जय गुरु जी। अध्याय 11 और 12। देवों के स्तवन से शिवजी का कोप शांत होना और शिवजी का उन्हें वर देना। मैं दानव का शिवजी के समीप आना और उनसे वर याचना करना। शिवजी से वर पाकर मैं का वित्तल लोक में जाना। व्यास जी ने पूछा, महाबुद्धिमान सनत कुमार जी, आप तो ब्रह्मा के पुत्र और शिव भक्तों में सर्वश्रेष्ठ हैं, अतः आप धन्य हैं। अब यह बतलाइए कि त्रिपुर के दग्ध हो जाने पर संपूर्ण देवताओं ने क्या किया, मैं कहाँ गया, उन त्रिपुराध्यक्षों की क्या गति हुई। यदि यह वृतांत शंभु की कथा से संबंध रखने वाला हो तो वह सब विस्तार पूर्वक मुझसे वर्णन कीजिए। सूत जी कहते हैं, मुने, व्यास जी का प्रश्न सुनकर सृष्टिकर्ता ब्रह्मा के पुत्र भगवान सनत कुमार शिव जी के युगल चरणों का स्मरण करके बोले। सनत कुमार जी ने कहा, महाबुद्धिमान व्यास जी, जब महेश्वर ने दैत्यों से खचाखच भरे हुए संपूर्ण त्रिपुर को भस्म कर दिया, तब सभी देवताओं को महान आश्चर्य हुआ। उस समय शंकर जी के महान भयंकर रौद्र रूप को, जो करोड़ों सूर्यों के समान प्रकाशमान और प्रलयकालीन अग्नि की भांति तेजस्वी था तथा जिसके तेज से दसों दिशाएं प्रज्वलित सी दिख रही थीं, देखकर साथ ही हिमाचल पुत्री पार्वती देवी की और दृष्टिपात करके संपूर्ण देवता भयभीत हो गए। तब मुख्य मुख्य देवता विनम्र होकर सामने खड़े हो गए। उस अवसर पर बड़े बड़े ऋषि भी देवताओं की वाहिनी को भयभीत देखकर खड़े ही रह गए, कुछ बोल ना सके। वे चारों ओर से शंभु को प्रणाम करने लगे। तत्पश्चात ब्रह्मा जी ने शिव जी के उस रूप को देखकर भयग्रस्त हो गए। तब उन्होंने डरे हुए विष्णु तथा देवगणों के साथ प्रसन्न मन से सावधानी पूर्वक उन गिरिजा सहित महेश्वर का जो देवों के भी देव, भव तथा हर नाम से प्रसिद्ध, भक्तों के अधीन रहने वाले और त्रिपुर हंता हैं, स्तवन किया। तदनंतर सभी प्रमुख देवताओं ने भगवान शिव की स्तुति की। यूं स्तुति किए जाने पर लोगों के कल्याणकर्ता शंकर प्रसन्न होकर बोले। शंकर जी ने कहा, ब्रह्मा विष्णु तथा देवगण, मैं तुम लोगों पर विशेष रूप से प्रसन्न हूँ, अतः अब तुम सभी विचार करके अपना मनोवांछित वर मांग लो। सनत कुमार जी कहते हैं, मुनिश्रेष्ठ, शिव द्वारा कहे हुए वचन को सुनकर सभी देवताओं का मन प्रसन्नता से खिल उठा। फिर तो वे बोल उठे। देवताओं ने कहा, भगवान देवेश, यदि आप हम पर प्रसन्न हैं और हम देवगणों को अपना दास समझकर वर देना चाहते हैं, तो देव सत्तम, जब जब देवताओं पर दुख की संभावना हो तब तब आप प्रकट होकर सदा उनके दुखों का विनाश करते रहें। सनत कुमार जी कहते हैं, महर्षि, जब ब्रह्मा विष्णु और देवताओं ने भगवान रुद्र से ऐसी प्रार्थना की, तब वे शांत तथा प्रसन्न होकर एक साथ ही सबसे बोले, अच्छा, सदा ऐसे ही होगा। ऐसा कहकर शंकर जी ने, जो सदा देवों का दुख हरण करने वाले हैं, प्रसन्नता पूर्वक देवों को जो कुछ अभीष्ट था वह सारा का सारा उन्हें प्रदान कर दिया। इसी समय मैं दानव, जो शिवजी की कृपा के बल से जलने से बच गया था, शंभु को प्रसन्न देखकर हर्षित मन से वहां आया। उसने विनीत भाव से हाथ जोड़कर प्रेम पूर्वक हर तथा अन्यान्य देवों को भी प्रणाम किया। फिर वह शिवजी के चरणों में लौट गया। तत्पश्चात दानव श्रेष्ठ मैंने उठकर शिवजी की ओर देखा। उस समय प्रेम के कारण उसका गला भर आया और वह भक्तिपूर्ण चित्त से उनकी स्तुति करने लगा। द्विजश्रेष्ठ, मैं द्वारा किए गए स्तवन को सुनकर परमेश्वर शिव प्रसन्न हो गए और आदरपूर्वक उनसे बोले। शिवजी ने कहा, दानव श्रेष्ठ, मैं तुझ पर प्रसन्न हूँ, अतः तू वर मांग ले। इस समय जो कुछ भी तेरे मन की अभिलाषा होगी उसे मैं अवश्य पूर्ण करूंगा। सनत कुमार जी कहते हैं, मुने, शंभो के इस मंगलमय वचन को सुनकर दानव श्रेष्ठ मैंने अंजलि बांधकर विनम्र हो उन प्रभु के चरणों में नमस्कार करके कहा। मैं बोला, देवादिदेव महादेव, यदि आप मुझ पर प्रसन्न हैं और मुझे वर पाने का अधिकारी समझते हैं, तो अपनी शाश्वती भक्ति प्रदान कीजिए। परमेश्वर, मैं सदा अपने भक्तों से मित्रता रखूं, दीनों पर सदा मेरा दयाभाव बना रहे और अन्याय दुष्ट प्राणियों की मैं उपेक्षा करता रहूं। महेश्वर, कभी भी मुझ में आसुर भाव का उदय ना हो। नाथ, निरंतर आपके शुभ भजन में तल्लीन रहकर निर्भय बना रहूं। सनत कुमार जी कहते हैं, व्यास जी, शंकर तो सबके स्वामी तथा भक्त वत्सल हैं। मैंने जब इस प्रकार उन परमेश्वर की प्रार्थना की, तब वे प्रसन्न होकर मैं से बोले। महेश्वर ने कहा, दानव सत्तम, तू मेरा भक्त है, तुझमें कोई भी विकार नहीं है, अतः तू धन्य है। अब मैं तेरा जो कुछ भी अभीष्ट वर है वह सारा का सारा तुझे प्रदान करता हूँ। अब तू मेरी आज्ञा से अपने परिवार सहित वित्तल लोक को चला जा। वह स्वर्ग से भी रमणीय है। तू वहाँ प्रसन्न चित्त से मेरा भजन करते हुए निर्भर होकर निवास कर। मेरी आज्ञा से कभी भी तुझ में आसुर भाव का प्राकट्य नहीं होगा। सनत कुमार जी कहते हैं, मुने, मैंने महात्मा शंकर की उस आज्ञा को सिर झुकाकर स्वीकार किया और उन्हें तथा अन्यान्य देवों को भी प्रणाम करके वह वित्तल लोक को चला गया। तदनंतर महादेव जी देवताओं के उस महान कार्य को पूर्ण करके देवी पार्वती अपने पुत्र और संपूर्ण गणों सहित अंतर्ध्यान हो गए। अब परिवार समेत भगवान शंकर अंतर्हित हो गए। तब वह धनुष, बाण, रथ आदि सारा उपकरण भी अदृश्य हो गया। तत्पश्चात ब्रह्मा, विष्णु तथा अन्यान्य देव, मुनि, गंधर्व, किन्नर, नाग, सर्प, अप्सरा और मनुष्यों को महान हर्ष प्राप्त हुआ। वे सभी शंकर जी के उत्तम यश का बखान करते हुए आनंद पूर्वक अपने अपने स्थान को चले गए। वहां पहुंचकर उन्हें परम सुख की प्राप्ति हुई। महर्षि, इस प्रकार मैंने शशि मोली शंकर जी का विशाल चरित्र, जो त्रिपुर विनाश को सूचित करने वाला तथा परमोत्कृष्ट लीला से युक्त है, सारा का सारा तुम्हें सुना दिया। अध्याय 11 और 12 समाप्त। शुक्राना गुरुजी, थैंक यू।